Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm Seth Udinsky. There are many fairy tales from the pages of history, as you well know, but the reality is, and we cannot miss this, many of these fairy tales are either based in truth or, believe it or not, many of them actually really happened. Let's consider this fact as we explore a tragic tale from medieval Germany, a tale that has given credence for the legend behind the mythical Pied Piper, a sinister fellow who is known in the old stories for luring local children to their doom with his beautiful music. There's ample evidence that this may have really happened in the little town of Hamelin, Germany, more than 700 years ago. Now, Hamelin sits in central Germany on the river Weser. It is a medieval town with a long history, but on the map of Europe, it would be largely forgotten, truthfully, if not for the fateful event that likely transpired there in the year 1284 AD. That year, a rat infestation infected the entire town. Now, in the Middle Ages, this would have been devastating for the townsfolk, as disease was rampant, food supplies were low, and rats were relatively dangerous creatures. By chance meeting, a colorfully dressed stranger, a musician who was skilled on the pipe, arrived in the town one day and noticed the problem. He went to the town mayor and proposed an offer. For 1,000 guilders, and guilders are gold coins that served as the currency of the Holy Roman Empire at the time, the Pied Piper offered to lure the rats into the river with his enchanting tune. The mayor agreed, and the piper worked his magic on the flute, luring all the rats to their doom and saving the town. But as the legend goes, the mayor was not the least bit appreciative. Thinking that he had been tricked and possibly caught in a trap with such a hefty sum of money that he now owed to a stranger, he blamed the rat problem initially on the piper and alleged that the piper had trained them in order to swindle the town. So he offered a meager 50 guilders instead, and the piper angrily refused, ominously vowing to get his revenge on the town. Well, that revenge came later that year on the feast day of Saints John and Paul. While all the adults were still in the local town chapel for Mass, the children were playing in the town square. There the piper returned, now dressed in the green garb of a woodland huntsman. He whipped out his pipe and began to play, putting all the children in the square into a trance. The children followed the piper out of the town and disappeared, never to be seen again. The Pied Piper had, by all likelihood, led the children to their deaths to get his revenge on the town. 130 Hamelin children vanished that day, which actually accounted for almost all the children in the city save for 3. A blind child who could not see the piper, a deaf child who could not hear the tune, and a lame child who, despite being entranced, could not follow. When the lame child awoke from his stupor, he broke the bad news to the adults, who then frantically searched for many days but could never find a trace of their lost children. To this day in Hamelin, there are many historical markers that are memorializing that fateful day. And in the modern town square where the children were last seen over 700 years ago, it is still forbidden to this day to play any kind of music. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History.